Hey gamers, today we just got a little bit of an unscripted video on just like the current state of Splatoon 2 in general, and this is going to sound like a super naggy, like kind of depressing video, and like I'm not trying to like have it come off that way, but like the current state of Splatoon 2 definitely has some issues that really probably are never going to get resolved because of how like close we are to Splatoon 3, and some of the issues are just about like how Nintendo has been kind of keeping us in the dark for a while, but just overall problems in the Splatoon community, but mainly to deal with Splatoon 2. And the first thing that I really want to get into is that the gameplay is just, it's kind of starting to get stale now. Like, we're playing in the same meta that we've been playing in since, like, I want to say, like, 2019. I don't think there's been a major shift in a very long time. Like, I'm not the most knowledgeable on how the meta flows and stuff like that. There are better Splatooners than I am that can cover that much better, but for me personally, the same weapons are still number one. Like, 52 gal and NZAP 85 are still very much on top, and the meta is basically just entirely shooters. Like, you know what you're going to get into, and this is, I guess, more of a problem for higher ranks. If you're in lower ranks, you're going to be seeing more weapons being used, but if you're, like, later in like the S plus to X rank, you're basically just going to be seeing teams using basically the same guns, and there's not going to be a variety. The meta has been very well dissected and figured out, and it has not shifted. Like, there's been slight patches to make some weapons in the meta a little less viable, but it's been done in such a way that there's been like no dramatic change anyway, and it's kind of just left the state of the game feeling pretty stale. Like, really, I hate to be the one to say this, I hate saying this in general, but Splatoon 2 is kind of just getting old at this point. Like, at least for me, it feels really, like, hard to justify getting on and playing and telling myself that I'm going to have a unique experience when I know deep down I'm really not. And it's kind of sad, because this still is my favorite game of all time, and I know this is going to set off some people, but at least for me personally, with how I'm perceiving everything, this is really an opinionated video. I'm kind of getting tired of just playing Splatoon 2, and like, the only thing really keeping me going here now is the fact that Splatoon 3 is on the horizon. Like, if we had no idea Splatoon 3 was coming, then I probably wouldn't even be playing the game right now. Like, the whole motivation of that coming out soon is probably the number one thing keeping me going right now, and like, besides all the little like teases we've been getting from Nintendo, which I will touch on later, there has not been a major update in the whole development of Splatoon 2, or Splatoon 3, sorry about that, can you tell I'm unscripted, since like September, which has been like, almost exactly like 5 months ago, which is really not a good thing. Like, I feel like we should be getting more consistent developments on this, which we probably will the closer we get to Splatoon 3's launch. And we're kind of seeing it start to get there now, but it's not in the correct way at all. What I'm really trying to get at here is we just desperately need Splatoon 3 news, and we need it, like, relatively soon to keep this community going. Like, if nothing is going to change in Splatoon 2, then we need something to look forward to. And I guess we still know in the back of our minds that Splatoon 3 is coming out soon, but at least to me, it's really hard to justify and get on this game. Like, if you attend my streams regularly, you can tell that I'm just really not having the same amount of fun playing on the same maps we've been playing on for years now. It's just really hard to keep going. It's hard to try to find new stuff to do when you've kind of just done everything in the game. Like, I know that's why Splatoon 3 is coming out, but like, the waiting period we are in right now is not a really fun waiting period. One thing that I wanted to touch on now, since we have the power of retrospect here, is we probably should have gotten one more bonus Splatfest. Like, the last one we got was in like January. It's been over a year now since we've gotten a Splatfest, which for Splatoon is kind of rare. Like, I don't know, the whole Splatoon Splatfest development thing has been an absolutely crazy thing, and honestly just not even possible to like call on what's normal and what's not anymore since we got the bonus fest. But since we had them, we were pampered with that over 2020 and really early 2021, we probably should have gotten one more, maybe in like, I want to say like June or July, just to keep the community a little stronger. I feel like it could have helped out with the health of this community. I know that Splatfest really are probably like the same things every time, but they really do help rejuvenate the community, and if there's nothing better than that, we probably should have gotten one more. I don't really have any idea on what it would have been, but just something new would have been really helpful to keep the community a little stronger, like especially in this like kind of drought we're in right now. Besides the breadcrumbs, which I will talk about in a sec, I promise. It's been pretty dry over here. That's why I made the thumbnail a desert and a bunch of stale crackers, because it's kind of getting stale. At least to me it is. Now, to touch on all the breadcrumbs Nintendo's been giving us lately, like the Christmas post and the New Year's post, and probably the biggest thing, which would have been the Splatoon 3 tease in the Splatoon manga. It's really like, I think it's cool, I really do, and my viewership certainly reflects that whenever Nintendo does that, the community goes crazy, but it's not really the good crazy we need. It's kind of a stir crazy feeling, because we know there's something that can happen, and they are just really taking their time on getting it to us. Like, I know that now we're in, like, February, like, March is coming soon, like, we're going to get a Direct either this month or in March. It would be really strange if Nintendo didn't do it in one of these 2 months, but holy crap, they are taking their time on telling us something new. Like, it's about time. Like, I don't want to see any more breadcrumbs from Nintendo until they, like, give us a new trailer. I mean, like, for God's sakes, like, it's been almost a year since Splatoon 3 was revealed. Like, if they're going to give us something, they need to give us a release date soon, because this is getting annoying. Like, I love the breadcrumbs, I've said it before, they're really cool, but I don't want to see breadcrumbs anymore until they've actually given us, like, something substantial. This is, I feel really bad for being nitpicky, but I want to get my frustrations out into a video and see if there's anyone who can really relate to this. And while on that, like, I wrote a bunch of points down for this, and my last, second to last point is that, is there a Direct coming soon? And I touched on it a little bit. There definitely has got to be one coming soon. I can't see them not, like I said earlier. And I really do believe that in the next Direct we get, they're going to give us a release date. The way that I can personally see this going is that they'll give us a release date, and then probably later on down the line, I don't think in the next Direct, but I think, like, relatively, like, a few months from after they tell us the Splatoon 3 release date, a few months from then, they'll finally give us the date of when we'll get the Splatoon 3 Direct, which I do believe will happen. But I think that the ball needs to start getting rolling again, especially since we're once again back in February, and we still don't have a release date, but we've seen a ton already. Like, honestly, I'm shocked they didn't give us a release date during the last Direct. But to wrap this up, Splatoon 2 is still a really good game, but it's gotten old to the point, like, where Nintendo needs to start shipping out new stuff soon, and they need to start telling us more, because we're going kind of stir crazy over here, and it's really not a good thing. Like, the crumbs are cool, I've said it before, I'll say it again probably. It's really at the time in the community where we need to see something new, and we really need to see it soon, because Splatoon 2 ain't getting any younger, and we ain't exactly getting any new activities. So, please, Splatoon 3 soon, need it, my soul hurts. Alright, that is it for me, gamers. I know this was a little more of a naggy video today, and I know you guys don't really like naggy videos, but I hope I said something that at least you can agree on one point here. Yeah, that's it for me, gamers. I will see you later. Bye.